Hello and welcome back everybody. So we have another modelled write lesson here. We're going to be looking at the economy as our topic. We're going to be looking at a really interesting question type that is quite different to the other question type. So it's definitely a different structure, a slightly different way of writing. So definitely worthwhile you understanding how to answer these questions. By understanding the question types, by understanding how to structure your writing, both report and essay, task 1 and task 2, you can answer the question properly and score higher in your task achievement band description. Okay, so let's move on. Let's take a look at a bit more information. And here we have problem solution structure. So as you probably realize, this is a problem solution question we're going to be looking at today. So the problem solution question is quite different, as I just said, and that's because the sentence types that we use in the supporting paragraph is quite different to all the other sentence types. So within most task 2 essays, we have a topic, a support, and then an example. It's pretty much how we structure each sentence. But in a problem solution question, it's quite different. We have a topic and support, which tells us the problem. And then we have a solution and result, which of course tells us the solution. Now, these are 4 sentences. So we're not going to, if we have 2 problems and for each supporting paragraph, so 4 problems each, we can't write 8 sentences per supporting paragraph. 4 sentences per problem, 2 problems per supporting paragraph, that would be 8. So we need to chop this a little bit at times so that we're not writing too much, so that we don't lose time. But this is a great way to think about it. So we might describe problem 1 as all 4 things, and then problem 2 in supporting paragraph 1, we might just do a topic and a result. We might just do a topic and a solution. We might even just do a topic and support, but probably not so much that. We might just do these 2. So we could probably say it's 6 sentences per supporting paragraph, but of course that may change. So really important we have an understanding about these sentences. So we have problem sentence types and solution sentence types. Okay, I'm going to show you how we do this, of course, throughout this video lesson. So let's take a look at our question. Many smaller local shops close due to the opening of large supermarkets. Topic sentence here. Question sentence. What are some of the problems and possible solutions for this? Okay, so I don't really need to, but I now know problem solution question, and we already recognize this. And let me just go through the topic one more time. So I'm just beginning to think about some ideas for this. Many smaller local shops close because supermarkets, large supermarkets open. Now, a lot of us may have seen this in our hometowns or places that we have lived, and there are definitely a few problems related to this. Quite an interesting question, I think. So let's have a look at our plan. Supporting paragraph 1. So what are some of the problems? So local shops closing, large supermarkets. Now, one of the great things about large supermarkets is there's probably more and cheaper products, but that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at the problems, smaller and local shops. I would say that these smaller and local shops are better for the local economy. For the local economy where they're from. Large supermarkets often buy goods from many different places around the world, whereas smaller local shops employ and make, grow, if it's food, everything locally. They don't generally bring lots of goods and employment from other countries or other areas. So they're probably better for the local economy. So I'm just going to type that. Remember, the plan needs to be short. Economy, there we go. Local economy. So the large supermarkets benefit probably the nation or the country that they're from, but small local shops are better for the small area that they are in. Also, the small local shops, generally handmade. It's generally things that are done inside the shop, whereas large supermarkets or even large shops often have all their products mass manufactured, which at times can mean that there are corners cut in employment or in the product. For example, chemicals within foods. So I'm just going to write here fair trade, because I think that's important to say that local shops, small shops, really often concentrate on fair trade. So paying employers, people at their work, paying them properly, not buying cheap products from abroad, often made in difficult situations, or poorly paid situations. This is probably a bit better in terms of fair trade. So 2 problems per supporting paragraph. Let's go on to supporting paragraph 2. What else could I say? Local smaller shops. So I'm thinking back to my own experiences. Always good to do this. And I'm just thinking, with the local shops, you have a personal relationship with them. The customer service is often a lot better because you know these people personally. So I think customer service is something that I will talk about as a problem of large supermarkets. They have so many people who shop at them. They often don't care as much about individual customers. Okay, and I think local shops, I think if we say maybe supporting the community. So when we're buying from people who we know, possibly our friends who live in the same area as us, we're often supporting the community, the local community. Whereas if we're buying from these big conglomerates, these big companies, it's not really supporting the local community, it's supporting their huge big business. So we have our 4 problems here, and I think that's going to give us a lot to write about. So let's jump into our writing now. Okay, so here we are, and of course we'll begin with our introduction paragraph. Many smaller local shops close due to the opening of large supermarkets. Often, smaller shops run by individuals have to close, have to end business due to the opening of big instead of large supermarkets nearby. I think that's perfectly fine. Often, smaller shops run by individuals have to end their business, just add that in, their business, due to the opening of big supermarkets nearby. In this essay, I will explore the problems associated with this and consider some possible solutions. Once again, if you come across a problem solution question, you can pretty much just copy this exactly letter to letter. Okay, firstly, I'm not going to say both 2 problems. I'm just going to talk about the first one. I will consider the effects, one moment, on the local economy. And secondly, I will share my thoughts on supporting the local community. Okay, so that just gives us a bit of an idea. So we have this local economy, which was, the fair trade and buying local, and then we have the local community. Local, but I'm not too worried about the repetition, although always good to read back and just check to see if it sounds a little bit too repetitive. Let's do that now. Firstly, I will consider the effects on the local economy, and secondly, I will share my thoughts on supporting the local community. Nearby, I might say that, nearby, surrounding community. Let's change that. I think maybe that repetition did sound a little bit dull. Let's try and use interesting vocabulary that's not repeated. Okay, so let's talk about the local economy. To begin with, by buying from local shops and small businesses, we can inject money, nice phrasal verb, directly into the people who live near us. I'm just trying to avoid repeating myself too often. So probably a slightly strange way of saying we can inject money directly into the local economy, but I feel like I might say this often. So I'm trying to think of, whilst writing, different ways to say local economy. Let's read this back. To begin with, by buying from local shops and small businesses, we can inject money directly into the people, directly to the people who live near us. At times when we utilize supermarkets, lots of spelling mistakes here. This, of course, is the British spelling with the S. At times when we utilize supermarkets, the money spent there is then dispersed back into the business's headquarters, often not nearby. I do love using brackets in my writing. Dispersed. Let's read this back. At times when we utilize supermarkets, the money spent there is then dispersed back into the business's headquarters. Businesses. There's a mistake. Businesses. I'm saying this a few times. Businesses' headquarters. I think that's okay. Businesses' headquarters, often not nearby. Okay, so this is my problem here. I have my topic, the first sentence, and my support, giving a bit more information about this. Injecting money into people nearby, supporting the local economy. Now I need to consider the solutions for this. What possible solutions could I consider? I'm going to say, let's say governments should subsidize small businesses to allow them to compete with larger, more financially secure companies. This would result, I'm on a roll, this would result in these smaller shops closing down less. Okay, that was quick, but sometimes when we write, we just need to go with the flow. Governments should subsidize small businesses to allow them to compete with larger, more financially secure companies. So basically, local governments, national governments should pay small companies money to stay open. And then this would result in smaller shops closing down less. So this is my result sentence here at the end. Okay, so I think what I might do now is just quickly give the second problem, which was fair trade, and then just consider a solution for this. So 2 short sentences. I'm trying to aim for around that 300 mark, pretty much. I don't want to write much more than that, or it may take too much time, especially whilst I'm rereading and editing. Okay, also, huge supermarkets, I'm not saying large or big, huge supermarkets don't engage in fair trade as much. This means that employment rights are often I'm actually just going to write the problem here. Also, huge supermarkets don't engage in fair trade as much. This means that employment rights are often wavered. Whereas, so actually I'm going to wavered, there we go. Whereas, this means that employment rights are often wavered. So this really is my support for fair trade, my topics here. Then I'm going to do my support and a really quick result. So I have this conjunction, this linking word, whereas. This means that employment rights are often wavered, whereas in small shops, let's say owners often focus more on positive fair trade. Positive fair trade in their local area. Great, so this means that employment rights are often wavered, whereas in small shops, owners often focus more on positive fair trade in their local area. It's actually kind of my support and slightly also moving into the idea of the solution. So small shops are more about fair trade. Basically, huge supermarkets don't have fair trade, which can be bad for people who work there. Small shops have better fair trade, so let's support them more. It's kind of going into problem and solution, but mainly I would just say that's more of just another problem. However, if I'm to write huge paragraphs each time, it's just going to be too much. I'm still answering the question, what are some of the problems and solutions? So that's fine, that's perfectly okay. Let's move on to supporting paragraph 2. So we were saying about customer service and supporting the local community. So I'm going to talk about customer service first. Another issue related to the opening of big supermarkets is poorer customer service given to their customers. Another issue related to the opening of big supermarkets is poorer customer service given to their customers, given to their users. I'm just trying to avoid repeating myself too often here. So let's go into this in a bit more detail. Topic, and now on to my support sentence, give a bit more information. There are too many customers within these massive businesses. Another synonym there, massive businesses. So they are unable to give real attention to individuals when problems arise. Wow, that was quick. I was really on a roll then once more. But let's read this back, make sure that we've got everything grammatically accurate. There are too many customers within these massive businesses, so they are unable to give real attention to individuals when problems arise. Okay, topic, my support, and then the solution. So what could be a possible solution for this? I think I'm actually not going to say, well, let's use local shops. I think the solution I'm going to offer is to say supermarkets should employ more customer service focused representatives. That way, the result, customers could be listened to more. So I'm not going to talk about small shops here. I'm going to give a solution to the problem of big supermarkets customer service, being that the big supermarkets could solve this, not the small shops. There are too many too many customers within these massive businesses, so they're unable to give real attention to individuals when problems arise. A great way to solve this problem would be for supermarkets to actively employ more customer service focused employees. Employees, I'm repeating a little bit, but that's okay, I think. To actively employ more customer service focused employees. This would then allow each individual customer within the supermarket to have more one-to-one conversations with staff if they have any problems or questions. Okay, so let's read this back. A great way to solve this problem would be for supermarkets to actively employ more customer service focused employees. This would then allow each individual customer within the supermarket to have more one-to-one conversations with staff if they have any problems or questions. Okay, there we go. So I've just got a bit of space here just to talk about that supporting the local community, which we don't really do so much with these big companies, supporting small businesses in the local community. So I'm just going to give a problem for this. I'm just going to offer a really quick solution too. Okay. As well as this, so I'm going to talk about supporting the local community. When small businesses or shops close, it makes it difficult to support people in the local community as much. Okay, so what ways could we consider? How can we solve this problem? So when the small businesses close, those small business owners, they're out of work. We can't support them as much. We can't support those people close to us much. So what's one of the solutions I can think of for this? Well, I would possibly say we should encourage people to shop locally as much as possible, possibly with discounts or things like this. We should therefore encourage people to shop locally as much as possible to help those within our surrounding communities. That's just as a nice short sentence, the solution I've offered. So this last problem here, as well as this, when small businesses or shops close, it makes it difficult to support people in the local community as much. Don't like the sound of that at the end. I'm going to get rid of that. Community. We should therefore encourage people to shop locally as much as possible to help those within our surrounding communities. Okay, so I think we can jump on to a quick conclusion. No need to give our opinion. In conclusion, it's clear to see that there are many problems and possible solutions to large supermarkets opening and closing smaller shops in local communities. Repeating local communities again, but that's no problem. Okay, so let's take a look at our word count. Okay, so actually slightly shorter than I thought. I thought I was going to go quite over, but it's actually 310 words exactly. So to be honest, that's about right. Or maybe even a little bit shorter. So yeah, pretty good. I did manage to explore lots of the problems and give some really useful solutions. So this is a top marked essay here. As always, if you have any questions, please do use the Q&A section. I always like hearing from you.